We're back on Taken Out of Context. We're pleased to welcome Chris Clancy, lead singer for Mutiny Within. Thank you for joining the program.
No problem, no problem.
So I guess we could get started. Andrew Jacobs actually formed the band in New Jersey in 2002 with his brother Brandon, but you actually joined the band when they discovered a video on YouTube of you singing, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, quite a strange situation, really. I was in a band in Wales, in the UK, and we had a studio diary we'd done from the recording of our EP, and AJ saw it on YouTube randomly because they were looking for a singer, sent me a message saying, hey, I like your vocals, do you want to do some demos? And after talking for a few months, we started cutting some demos. He sent me some stuff over, I tracked some vocals, sent it back. We worked on the songs a little bit to incorporate me into the style, and yeah, I flew over, gave up my job, left everything, and joined the band, and then we managed to get a record deal finally, which is cool.
Now, according to what I read online, you were actually working at a phone company at the time that they called.
Yeah, it was T-Mobile in the UK, so it was not the best job in the world, really, but it got me by, and I just finished the whole training program after a few months. I was just about to go on to do the live work and start my job properly, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to join the band in America.
Now, you started singing at age 15. Who were some of your musical influences?
Early influences, the first artist I really listened to was Elvis Presley, which I got ridiculed for being a kid, but, you know, it was worth it in the end. And vocal influences, mainly Queen was something I really grew up with. Freddie Mercury's vocals really inspired me a lot. Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden as well. I like those powerful singers, the singers that sing really high, but you don't know it because their voice is so powerful. It really gets me, so I wanted to try and emulate that somehow, so I got loads of singing lessons and stuff, and yeah, I'm still working on that, but hopefully we'll get there one day.
Are the influences for the band similar to yours, or would you say that you guys kind of follow a different path when you're writing?
It's actually very different. When I joined the band, I actually heard the original material for the band, and it wasn't really my thing, but I was like, you know what? I could incorporate my musical taste into this, and we could do something that was entirely different from what we felt had really been done before. It was a lot of Children of Bodom style. It was very European Finnish metal. A lot of sort of kind of happy-go-lucky riffs and stuff, very technical, a lot of double bass, 6-7 minute songs. So we made a bit more space to the vocal melody and made the structures a bit more, I don't know, more into my sort of music. I'm into quite a lot more simple music with vocal-driven stuff, so I added that into the mix, and we kept the technical bit and the complex guitar riffs, but we made more space for vocals, and everything came together as it is now. But I mean, everyone in the band's into totally different music. It's quite amazing. Drew likes his sort of chill piano music and acoustic guitar music. AJ likes his Finnish metal. Brandon likes death metal. Bill likes everything on the face of the earth.
Wow.
And Dan likes Dream Theater. You get a group of friends together and you start recording music and writing music, and you're all into the same band. It's going to sound like that band. And there's no way you can stop it from doing that. But when you get a completely different mix of people, you get a lot more arguments. But what you come out with is something, it's a big mixing pot.
Absolutely. Well, you said arguments. Who does most of the writing, and who has the final say?
Well, AJ does almost all the writing. He writes 9% of everything. He sits down, picks up his guitar, transcribes it all, puts it all together like score writing in a way. He writes the whole thing and then gives it to me or the band, and I do the recording and sort of like the producing. So he'll put it together, I'll take it, put the vocals over it, and then we'll say, hey, give it to the band. And they will listen to it and be like, you know what, we could do this with the verse, we could change this, we could change that. The band write all the solos. And between us, we sort of, AJ puts like the whole template together because there's too many people to come together and just write the thing as it is.
Right.
It's too complex. So AJ writes, you know, pretty much everything. He's a bit of a genius.
Now, you guys have an album coming out February of next year. And according to your website, you guys actually started out with 50 songs.
Yeah, it was, that was a bit of a campaign over like 2 years since I joined.
Right.
We realized mainly because I've been English, I couldn't stay over here. I didn't have a working visa, so to avoid issues, we concentrated on songwriting because songwriting was something we could do. AJ could work on material. I'd fly over for a month. We'd record it, work on it, get it together, play a live show, and I'd go home. We couldn't really spend time crafting the live show at the time, so working on that, we spent 2 years writing 50 songs.
Wow.
And especially with Mike Gitt from Roadrunner, who was our A&R at the time, he really helped us with that because we thought, you know what, we're ready. This is our album. And he'd be like, nah, you can keep writing. So he kept pushing us, and it was frustrating as hell, but it all worked out really well in the end, you know.
Definitely.
Having 50 songs to choose from, you putting it down to 11 on the album is that's a lot of cancelling out.
You talked about Roadrunner. You guys actually signed with them last year. How did that come about, and was it an easy choice to sign with them?
That came about through a lot of work, mainly on AJ's behalf again. They played a show with 3 Inches of Blood a few years ago before I joined, and my guitar saw a band of talented young musicians that hadn't quite found what they were going to do yet, but he was so amazed by the musicianship and the show that he started talking to him, and he talked to AJ almost every day, and we sort of put everything together, and he gave guidance and help on how to achieve what we wanted to achieve, and he inspired us, and everything came together really well. There was a lot of work from AJ again. We got signed with Roadrunner, which was our first choice. We had a few other labels interested.
Okay.
But we just, growing up, Roadrunner was my go-to label, and out of every other label we could have signed with, Roadrunner was the one where I was like, I could walk into a room and say, I got signed by Roadrunner and be most proud. And we all felt the same way, and you thought, that says something. And, we wanted to get that, so we held on a lot longer to try and get signed by Roadrunner, whereas it would have been a lot easier to get signed by someone else earlier on.
So your first national exposure was earlier this year with Soulfly, Prong, and Cattle Decapitation. How was that tour, touring with those guys?
That was fantastic. It really was. It was the best experience. It really restored a lot of faith in the music industry with me. Music industry is quite a dirty business at times. Mm. And touring with those guys was great. Every single band on that bill, no matter how long they've been in the business and what they were into, whatever, everyone was so supportive. And we came in there, it was our first tour together, and everyone came in and helped us, like, look guys, this is what you do, this is how, everyone showed us the ropes, and we're so accommodating every night. We had some problems with equipment sometimes, with new to the whole thing, and people would step in and say, hey, you can use our equipment, and
it's awesome.
Just so much advice off everyone. It was great, and obviously beyond the bands, just touring and seeing it in the country, because obviously it's not my home country. Mm-hmm. Being able to see the United States was incredible. Just the sights and meeting all the people, and the fans were very good as well, very accommodating considering they didn't know who we were, and there wasn't 25 minutes of us playing every night.
Right.
And it was only rarely we actually saw people agitated.
No, definitely. I mean, and you talk about playing here in the States. Where do you guys prefer playing? Because a lot of bands I've talked to say that metal in particular is bigger overseas in Europe. Do you prefer playing the States or overseas?
That's a good question. I mean, not playing overseas with the band. A little sort of uneducated on that, but I don't know. I know it's sort of in Europe, more sort of Germany, everything, metal's huge. In England, metal's really big over there still, but it's only really big with the bigger bands. Like, you'll find an up-and-coming band doesn't get a whole lot of support over there.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we were really established and go over there, it'd be fantastic, but I think America is one of the best places, from my experience of playing and, talking to people, is the best place for new bands, because people go out and they go to a gig, and especially for some states, they just want to have a good time. So it doesn't matter who's playing; they'll support you, and then you can really build up quite a following in America a lot faster than you could in other places, I think.
Interesting. Do you find that a lot of people show up? You guys would be going on first. Do a lot of people get there early enough to catch you, though?
Yeah, a lot of people did. I mean,
awesome.
Again, some states it didn't, but I mean, some places like Texas, Kansas, we played. A lot of places in California, everyone just turned up way before we played, had a few drinks, we got on stage, and it was just a big party, and that's to me what it's about. It's a night out, It's like any other form of entertainment, and everyone really got into that. I mean, some shows we played, and people didn't turn up until later, but compared to playing in somewhere like England, the support bands, generally people turn up quite late, so it was a great surprise for us, in a good way, obviously.
Any crazy stories from the road, from shows, anything like that?
I don't know, really. I mean, one of the best things that happened to us, which not so crazy in a way, but I guess kind of is on the last show of the tour, Max from Soulfly always did his percussion section of the set, and the last one, someone came in the dressing room and said, right, everyone get up now, and we all went out there, we all got our drums, put them down, and all the sticks, and we had a whole line of people there playing along with Max, which was great, because obviously Max is, a legend in the metal world, and to be up on stage next to him playing drums was just amazing.
Right.
It was pretty crazy.
Right, awesome. Now, what bands would you say you'd like to tour with in the future? You talked about how good it was touring with Soulfly and those guys. What about in the future? Who would you like to tour with?
Well, that's a really good question. I think our ultimate band to tour with at the moment would be Killswitch Engage. They share quite similar characteristics in the music. So, obviously from the perspective of gaining fans and getting exposure, Killswitch Engage will be the ultimate one. But I mean, we played a show with Machine Head in Long Island, and that was incredible.
Right, the Crazy Donkey, right?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite shows I've ever played. It was just, the crowd were so accepting. We walked on there, and then we hadn't even started playing the first song, and people were going crazy and chanting and stuff. That was incredible. I think we really found an audience we could connect with there. But yeah, I think Killswitch Engage would be a really good band for us to tour with.
Well, you'll actually be touring with Arch Enemy in January and February, and then Sonata Arctica in April and May. That's quite a busy schedule.
The Arch Enemy tour, I'm really looking forward to. That's going to be great. They were one of my inspirations growing up. Love that band. So, I mean, besides playing with them, every night I'll get to watch the band, so that's going to be great. Now,
switching gears a little bit, earlier this year, Evan Bourne in the WWE actually started coming out to the song Born to Win by you guys.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Now, did you write the song especially for him, and did they contact you, or did you contact them? How did that all come about?
I mean, I was in England at the time that all that happened, and I got an email off our manager who said that Jim Johnston, who's he writes actually all of the things for the WWE.
Right.
He wrote the song, and then he gives it to artists who then take the song and put their own spin on it. So we rewrote a lot of the verse, and we changed a few things, and we worked close alongside him to get to somewhere we were both happy. And yeah, that happened. They just contacted us because I think they contacted our record label, asking if there were any bands that would want to do it, and they put us forward for it, and we got the gig. So that was amazing. No, I didn't expect that at all.
Now, you guys, your album is coming out early next year. The single out now is Awake. By the way, on a personal note, a fantastic track. But why that track is a single?
We felt, on a whole, we sat down, we listened to the whole album a few times, and we thought this is the first song that anybody's going to hear, and a lot of people are going to judge the band on this one song.
Right.
So we've got a lot more diverse songs on the album. We've got some really heavy songs, some not so heavy songs. And Awake, I think it has a bit of everything in. It has the heavy guitars in there. It has the solo. It has the big over the top chorus. It has keyboards and it has everything there that we do is in that song. And I think we felt that represented the band on a whole better than any other song on the album. But I think when people get the album, I think they're going to be quite surprised with how diverse some of the material is.
Your self-titled album will be out in February in 2010. Until then, you could check out the single Awake. The band will be on tour with Arch Enemy January and February, Sonata Arctica in April and May. Chris, really, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.